The American side that splits into two sides. So the Democrat is kind of saying the reason for this whole Cuban thing is because of the embargo. And then the Republican is saying, no, it's blame it on the leaders, is communism. Now, how I understand...
What is an embargo, by the way?
So I'm going to explain. The embargo is basically a thing that was put on Cuba for like 40, 50 years now, like by the U.S.
ban or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, so okay, basically... eliminate limit trades from Cuba to us, and then limit travel access between us and Cuba, and they can't really export anything into our country, and our country can't really export.
Yeah, vice versa.
Yeah, same thing. So basically, just a trade is really a trade thing, and people traveling. So the left said that they, in order to help this issue be resolved, we need to uplift. Is it uplift or? Is uplift is when you cancel things, right?
No, uplift is to support.
Yeah. No, okay. You just need to remove the embargo, and then it will help the Cuban and their economy and the people to get jobs and food and da. But on the other side, it's like saying no, like the embargo has nothing to do with anything. Like you need to blame the government for not giving people their freedom, not helping out their community and the populations, and especially throughout this pandemic, not provide food and etc. So you have the two sides, right?
Who said that it's blamed on the Cuban government? Because they're right. I'm assuming that was the Republicans.
The Republicans.
Wow.
Yeah,
they're right. I mean, come on now. I've seen like I haven't read like deep into the shit that's happening in Cuba. But I've seen enough to know that the citizens are protesting, and the army's been fucking attacking little kids, shooting kids, and everything. They're not just shooting at adults; they're shooting at kids, and you should never be shooting at kids. That's enough for me. I'm gonna look into it more, but that's enough for me to say that whatever the fuck that they're doing over there in Cuba, they should not. They should not be doing. So I mean.
You're smoking a lot of Cuban cigar. You can't even say that shit right, huh?
Cuba. That's how they say
Cuba. Oh, yeah.
Cuban, Cuba.
So I'm going to take it a step further, okay? Because I know a little bit or not about communism. So I'm going to take it a step further. Communism. Communism. Whatever the case might be. Whatever it is. I live in...
You went to college and you have a degree.
Yeah, sometimes I butcher words, bro. Like it fucking happens. I'm not a fucking I have a bachelor.
You a scholar.
Yeah, whatever. I cheated on a lot of tests. So be it.
They're gonna take that shit away. I'm gonna call
that's fine. That's fine. You can have that shit back. I don't need it. Anyways, if you take that back, I want my money back as well. So either or, it'll be a good trade.
You invalidated that when you cheated on the test.
No, fuck that. I want my money back. If I'm giving back my degree, I want my money back. What's the whole point of having a degree and still have to pay for it? No, not having a degree and yeah. Anyways, so going further, I think I was getting really fucking annoyed, like on the left sense of like blaming it on the embargo, because I know what it's like to live in a communist country, and then we all heard the whole Fidel run and Fidel Castro and the whole thing with the U.S. and us, and so I think like I'm getting tired of people blaming the U.S., especially coming from the left, for this subject, because like.
Wait, so hold on. What are the Democrats saying since they're blaming it on them?
They're saying the reason why the Cuban some are saying the reason why the Cubans are suffering because of the embargo, like they don't have access to trades, and then like there's nothing to stimulate their economy, because essentially like they can't access one of the biggest economic economy in the world, which is the U.S. But it's just like literally like that's not our fault.
Okay,
like
that's true, but one, I'm pretty sure Cuba still trades with China.
Right.
Two, that's not the main reason. The main reason is that the Cuban government is communist and they don't give a fuck about their citizens. Just the same way Democrats say that China doesn't give a fuck outside of Hong Kong and the mainland. China doesn't give a fuck. about their citizens. Same thing they say about Russia. Russia don't give a fuck about their citizens.
Right.
Same thing we say about North Korea is the same
but
thing with Cuba.
It kind of almost pissed me off that I think the left kind of like this acknowledged like communist country, and they don't really take it as serious as like the Republicans. Republicans hate communists.
Unless it's Russia.
Okay, sure. Unless it's Russia. But
because we let China slide.
For some reason, Democrats love Chinese.
We don't let North Korea slide, but North Korea is...
They do it to themselves.
They're basically a third world country in a sense. No, I mean, I don't know about you North Korean, but well, yeah, they're basically a third world country, so we don't really have to worry about them. Same with Cuba, but
right,
you're right. They let us slide. They don't let us slide with Russia, but they let us slide with China, and they kind of look the other way with Cuba,
right?
Because Cuba, I guess, is they kind of with Russia. So
yeah, and the craziest thing is about Cuban American, they are fucking Republican as fuck. Yeah, like when they come to the state, they're like Republican AF, and you got people protesting over there with the American flag. Because the American flag kind of like represents freedom. And so like it kind of fucking baffled me that we got people here that have freedom that like don't take it for granted, where you got people over there fucking fighting for their lives just for like little things as freedom and food and stuff like that. Because boggles my mind that like they're over here blaming the U.S. for a crisis in another country, instead of like looking at the country like communist regime and like pointing that out as the reason why like Cuban has failed their people. Like it makes no sense to me that we're blaming us. Some of us are blaming us.
Can you even speak out against the government in Cuba without getting killed?
No, you get killed.
Exactly. So I don't know how you can just say that. How I would hope that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably some Republicans that think the same way, but I don't see how you can just say that it just has to do with the embargo and it doesn't have to do with...
No, the Republicans are really going full blown like this is the communists' fault and blah, blah, blah. Rightfully so, because they do that for everything, which I don't agree with a lot. But when it comes to the communists, I'm fully against it.
It's a little of both. I don't think the Democrats should just ignore what the communist regime in Cuba. See, you got me talking stupid now.
I know. My fault.
I don't think the Democrats should like. I don't really care about politics, if we're being honest. But I don't think the Democrats should really.
I think we're just in the middle, kind of like so fed up with the two.
I don't think they should ignore that though. They shouldn't ignore that the regime, the Castro and whatever the families in Cuba doing, like
which is I think why a lot of people had like shit when Cap came out with the Fidel Castro T-shirt. A lot of people didn't fucking like that shit at all.
He had a Fidel
he showed up to one of the NFL tryout out in a Fidel Castro T-shirt.
Was it like saluting Fidel or something?
Yeah, I mean look that up. That's why a lot of people gave him backlash because of the whole Fidel Castro T-shirt.
Oh, I remember which one you're talking about. Oh, I know. I remember.
Yeah. He showed up to one of his tryout to be able to get back a job, and he showed up in the T-shirt and was kind of like praising Fidel Castro. Although
I don't know if it was more so he was praising Fidel, or if he was trying to compare. If it was more like a shirt trying to show symbolism to compare the American government to what basically.
No, that was not the intention. I don't think he was comparing the government to Fidel because Fidel was running a different system than what we're running. There's no way you can compare the two when the two systems are different.
The point. That's the whole point. Is basically even though it's a different system, like you said, it's more him saying that our government is so fucked up, it might as well be Cuba. I feel like that was more what it was.
No, but that's not what he said in the interview. And I don't
remember. Okay, look, I don't remember.
Bro, I'm gonna say this straight up. I think you know what it is. What it is. If you want to protest America, sure, but I feel like people need to start treating America like a family member. It's okay for you to talk shit about the family member. But it's not okay for another person to talk shit about the family member. And we starting to let other people talk shit about our family member too much. In this sense, America. And we talk shit about it. And we look.
Well, we fucked up by letting Trump get president. When Trump became president, we became laughing stock of the world. So we have to, like you said, we have at this point,
we're still a laughing stock right now.
Yeah, but at this point, we just have to look ourselves in the mirror and correct. But we do need to come together.
But even with
as coonish as that sounds,
bro, even with Trump and without Trump, like at the end of the day, like this country is still the greatest country. There's no other country with a Bill of Rights that has like 20 different things that's like your fucking rights. Name me one country. Name me one. There's no, like you, not even the UK, you have like full freedom of speech. There is no country that has fully freedom of speech. There is no country. And there's no country with the Second Amendment right either. Like fully. There's none of that. So like,
I don't even agree with that, but that's a whole nother story.
And another thing is like people are shitting on like how we handle the pandemic or whatever. Sure, okay, we can talk shit about our country, whatever the case might be, but yeah, we can have that debate. But look, my family member is currently living in Vietnam right now, bro. They're on like their third or fourth shutdown. There is zero unemployment help, zero healthcare help. They're just saying, hey, you can't open your businesses, but look, too bad, we're not helping you out in any way. And that's all around the world with other countries. We at least still get help here from our government, regardless of the shit talk that we talk about the government.
You can't say all around the world. Because in Italy, when the first shutdown happened, them motherfuckers getting like 2,000 a month.
No. I wasn't saying like every country. I'm just saying there's a lot of countries out there that are getting no fucking help whatsoever. Okay, sure, yes, there's some countries that got a lot more help than us, but then also, you know.
No, that's the point I was trying to make. Like, we weren't getting, don't frame it like we was getting the most help, because there's other countries like Canada and Italy who were supporting when it comes to unemployment and everything during the pandemic, they were supporting their citizens maybe way more than we were. But I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, yes. But I mean, I can name a shit ton of fucking stuff that.
No, you're right. We can name a shit ton of countries where people didn't get shit. Shit, India is people still dying.
Nothing, and like they're getting fucking fake vaccines or no vaccines. You know, so
India's getting vaccines from us. So I would hope that.
Yeah, I think we're shipping J&J to them, or is it Moderna?
I think we ship just a mix. I think we shipped a mix of everything.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so
yeah, they didn't have no vaccines, so I would hope the ones that we're sending to India are real. I would hope we're not sending no bullshit to them. But yeah, you're right.
Right.
No, you're right.
But going back to the whole Cuban thing, so I think what's really important is that like the whole protest right now just kind of shows that, you know, whether we hate capitalism or not, like for a lot of people who are in a communist country, it just proves that like our country isn't that fucking bad, because there's people that literally has no freedom, and then, you know, we over here, you know, take this fucking country for granted for like literally everything.
It's not that people think that America is so bad. It's more so that we're still a young country, and yeah, we still have a lot of like growing to do as a country.
But we're like the most progressive as you can be as far as a nation.
Yes, but
like in laws and everything you can think of.
Yes, but at the same time, we're also a young country, so I'm not justifying a lot of the mistakes that we make, even when it comes to like the racism and the Jim Crow shit. I'm not justifying that, but as a young country, stupid shit like this is gonna happen. I mean, like, people in power are gonna make bad decisions that probably are not like far from the best decisions.
Like I always say, when it comes to our country, it's not the system fault, it's the people that's running the system that is the yes. Like if you really look at the rules, like the rules aren't fucking that bad. Like sure, there's a lot of bad rules in there, but they're not like the worst of the worst.
It's a mix of both, because you have to think, because we're still a young country, even though we're progressive, a lot of the laws. Like, there's a lot of laws that still kind of, you know, don't benefit minorities. And I guess, in a sense, benefit white people just because of the way that they're worded. Even though we don't really live by those laws today as a country, because they were written up in fucking 1776. Like, it's laws that still kind of affect black people, because back then we weren't even considered human. We considered 3/5 of a person. So I mean, it's still certain laws that, you know,
that over the time, like we will get better, but like,
but as we get
obviously there's a lot of bad things. But going back to Cuba,
as you get more progressive, as you grow, certain laws will change. It's not gonna happen overnight, but yeah, I get it.
Going back to Cuba, so what happened was that during the Obama days, Obama kind of like ease up on the embargo, and then for a little bit, like there was access of like travel between, you know, Cuba and trade were happening. But then when Trump took office, a lot of that went away, because, you know, they couldn't. He was very against, you know, working with a communist country, as far as like he kind of did that for every communist country, because he had a lot of shit with China as well. So,
but the only reason I don't like that, like, I know you're not making that argument. But only reason I don't like when people make that argument against Obama.
Which argument?
About how Obama like loosened up and Trump.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't think like.
No, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like even though Trump was being more hard on those communist countries, he still was doing. Before he was president, he was doing business with a lot of those countries.
Right.
I think there's a Trump Tower in China, if I'm correct.
No, there isn't.
You sure?
No, there isn't.
But he does a lot of business with China.
Not really. But the thing is, okay. But the thing is, the reason why we're not like, I think the reason why we don't try to do when he was in office, try to stay away from communist country is because if you do business with a communist country, especially with the whole Cuban issue, is that if you allow the trade to happen, because they're a communist country, everything goes through the government. So the companies and the businesses, the small mom and pop that really want to trade outside of Cuba, it doesn't really benefit because everything is monitored through the government anyways. So it doesn't really benefit.
It's not going to benefit the people because
right.
I get what you're saying.
At the end of the day, embargo, yes or no, the government just will subsidize everything.
Dictatorship or whatever, and it's still communist. They're gonna still control any money, any income that they get from the embargo being lifted.
Exactly, and if you once you do business with a communist country, like everything, okay, sure, you're gonna benefit from some economic gains, but whatever the case might be, it has to cater to them. So how much more do you want to just keep catering to a bunch of communist country? Because the more you do that, the more you become a communist state yourself, you know? So that's the whole thing with FDR back in the days was like, yo, you can't really let a bunch of fucking countries become communist because it's a domino effect. So, you know, by fully trading with Cuba, yeah, sure. But Cuba, you know, embargo or not, their people will still be in the same crisis they are today. So I don't think the whole embargo thing will make any difference and will help the Cuban people at all. Because if anything, the Cuban people just need a new regime. They need a new leader and they need new laws that allow people to be free, allow people to have access to food, have access to free trade, have access to be able to create their own companies without the government regulating everything, you know, and overseeing every little movement of their economic state. Which is the reason why, like, I was so blessed to got out of Vietnam, because if you were able to make it big in a communist country, the government take over your business. I mean, if you look up the statistic in China, something like 86 billionaire were found missing or dead because they didn't want to cooperate with the government. That's very thing. Like the whole company Alibaba, for example, their fucking CEO, forgot his name, real famous guy. Before their company going fucking public, he went fucking missing because he didn't want to release data to the government. So, I mean, we can talk shit about capitalism all we want, but like, if you really want to make money, that's where it's at. If you want to, you know, make money and then give it to the government, then you can live in a communist country all you want. Then, I mean, if you're okay with that, then I guess you're okay with it. But yeah.